Fort Lauderdale is changing. The Fort Lauderdale that you know and love will not be the same in 2030. But what's gonna happen? Is it gonna disappear? Like when the world's happening? Well, it'll still be the same Fort Lauderdale that you know and love. However, we're getting a lot more luxury condos finally coming to the Fort Lauderdale and the Pompano Beach area. So everything that you know and love about Fort Lauderdale will be the same. Now we're adding some luxury, and it's really, a lot of people in Miami kind of starting to realize that like, hey, yes, Miami is great and there's a lot of stuff it has to offer, but Fort Lauderdale is a better mix, a better location, and it's a lot cheaper. So in this video, we're gonna dive into some of the new buildings that are coming here to Fort Lauderdale, where they're gonna be, and at the end, we're also gonna talk about one project that I think is going to completely transform not only the Fort Lauderdale skyline, but also luxury living as we know it here in Fort Lauderdale. But before we do that, if you're looking to buy, sell, invest, or maybe even rent here in Fort Lauderdale, or South Florida in general, my team and I would love to be a real estate resource of choice. We have people just like you who reach out every single day through phone calls, text, emails, even DMs on Instagram. I know people do that, but they're asking questions like the best happy hour spots. Hey, I'm looking for a home in this neighborhood. What should we watch out for here? What are some of the best buildings in this area? Any kind of question you have, we'd be happy to help. You can call us, email, text us. But now let's talk about what's really changing here in Fort Lauderdale. For the longest time, it felt like Fort Lauderdale was really always seen as Miami's little brother. When you thought of new construction condos and luxury condos, what's the first thing that comes to mind? First thing that comes to mind for me is Miami, Brickell, and the SoFi area, which is south of 5th in Miami Beach. Now, these areas are magnificent. Some of the best buildings in not only South Florida, but probably the entire state of Florida, and maybe even the entire country. I mean, the new Waldorf Astoria coming to Miami is going to be the tallest tower south of New York City. It's unreal. However, they do come with a hefty price tag quite often, and they do, have some of the best amenities around, but some people really don't like Miami. And a lot of people recently have started to realize, hey, Fort Lauderdale is just as good, if not better, than Miami. It's a laid back vibe, there's plenty of things to do, it's not as clubby, and it has a huge boating community. So people are starting to realize it. Developers are also starting to realize it as well, and that's why they're bringing a lot of projects up here to Fort Lauderdale and Broward County. Not to mention, the prices are significantly more affordable as well. So with that being said, right now in the Broward County area, we do have 20 approved projects coming that are going to completely transform the skyline, not only in Fort Lauderdale, but Pompano Beach as well, which I think is extremely interesting because I'm probably one of the most bullish people on Pompano, not only in South Florida, but probably on the internet as well. So let's talk about some of these projects coming and what they're going to do to transform the city. So let's start off with probably the most famous, and that's going to be the Pier 66 residences, which will also probably be the first one completed with delivery and everything. So obviously you have the hotel aspect of it, you have the marina, you have the residences, and it really helps redefine luxury on the water here in Fort Lauderdale. Now, if we move on from there, another project that was actually just recently announced right down the street as you curve around 17th Street down on A1A, we do have the St. Regis Bahia Mar, which is set to make Fort Lauderdale a mini Monaco, as they say, with the marina aspect of it, the hotel aspect, the residences, and obviously the beachfront. Plus, they just redid the Marina Village at Bahia Mar, so Fort Lauderdale Beach has a lot of stuff going on. As we continue to work our way down Fort Lauderdale Beach, we also have Celine, which will be another new condo project right here on the beach, one of the newer ones as we work our way north, which is a really nice thing. And then when we head a little bit further west, we'll get on Las Olas, we'll head west. We also have Ondare, which is coming, which will be right there directly on Las Olas, which will help redefine and reshape not only the downtown area, but also Las Olas as we know it. Then we also have 6th and Rio, which is going right over near Rio Vista. Then what the big thing going on here in Fort Lauderdale is what's happening in the Flagler Village area. So we have the Fat Village project as well as the Searstown project, which are both mixed use developments, bringing a combination of residential units as well as office space and retail space. Now I will say the Searstown, as I believe it stands right now, is going to be residential units, a hotel aspect is on top of retail space. Meanwhile, Fat Village will be residences, office space, and retail space. Not to mention also the Viceroy residences, which will be right there on Federal, right across from the Waverly, right near like First Baptist in that field that they own. So that'll be really cool. So their first Viceroy branded building here in not only Fort Lauderdale, but also the Broward County area as well. There's also one more project coming to Flagler Village that's been announced. That's my favorite. We're gonna talk about it here in a second. Let's jump up to Pompano real quick. Pompano is freaking booming. So they announced the Ritz-Carlton residences, and when they first announced them, I was like, obviously, you know, like I said, I'm bullish on Pompano, but bringing a Ritz, it's bold. But they sold out in like 9 months. So they have a beachfront portion as well as an intercoastal front portion of it as well, and they're booming. So from that, we've also now announced an Armani residences, we have the W coming, we have a Waldorf Astoria coming, all to Pompano itself. So if you're not bullish on Pompano yet, you better jump on the bandwagon because it's about to take off. I mean, they've redone the fishing village and the pier, they've redone the downtown area. Like, Pompano is where it's at. But now back to Fort Lauderdale, let's talk about the project coming to Flagler Village that I think is going to reshape luxury living here in Fort Lauderdale. And that project is Ombelle. And Ombelle is set to really redefine the live, work, play aspect here in Fort Lauderdale. And I know everyone like really says that, but this building is probably the first one that I've been to. I've looked at everything. I've actually sat through the presentation. I'm like, oh crap, like this really could be it. Like, you know, sometimes they promise you things. This one is legit. So it's gonna feature two 43-story towers with 775 fully furnished units. And that's not even the best part. There's gonna be over 100,000 square feet of amenity space with literally every single thing that you need. You will not need to leave this building unless you're going to work because you don't work from home, or you want to run to the grocery store. But honestly, you could probably just Uber Eats it or Go Puff it, whatever you're gonna do. You really don't have to leave. So let's kind of talk about the building itself. Location-wise, you're right there on the corner of 3rd Ave and 4th Street. So you're literally like around the corner from Mr. 01 Pizza, which is one of the best pizza places here in South Florida. They have a couple locations throughout Miami-Dade, Broward County. I'm not sure if they have some in Palm Beach, but I'll double check on that for us. So clutch location now, you're like 6-7 blocks from Las Olas. So you could walk to Las Olas and at the absolute most, maybe 10 minutes. You're right down the street from the new Solid Core that opened. You have the Publix right there with Publix Pours, by the way. Obviously, all the food and entertainment and dining options, or bar options as well. You also have downtown. You also have the Flagler Village area and everything going on there with one of the best breweries in all of Fort Lauderdale, Invasive Species. You have Amped going in. And speaking of Amped, let's talk about the downstairs portion of this building. So, in the downstairs area, there is a 15,000 square foot resident lobby and lounge. So there's a private coffee bar, all for the residents, hangout area with 20-foot ceilings. And there's going to be a massive tenant coming downtown or downstairs that will be the first of its kind, not only in Fort Lauderdale, but also in Broward County, that is going to reshape the way that we work out. I'm not allowed to say it yet, but let me just tell you, the minute it's announced, I'm freaking signing up because I'm pumped. I've been wanting to go forever. And the other locations here are just way too far away. So that's gonna help the building itself. It's also gonna help Fort Lauderdale because finally we have one of these luxury amenities. Now, back to the building itself. So the residences, we do feature studios all the way up to 3-bedroom penthouse units. And we start in the mid 400s. Think about that, mid $400,000 range, fully furnished. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to beat that anywhere. But the big thing and the icing on the cake for this entire building is the amenities, which I really, really love. So like I was saying before, over 100,000 square feet of amenity space, which is just shy of 2 acres, which is nuts to think about for a condo building. So you have a sunrise pool, a sunset pool, a state-of-the-art fitness center that's just for the residents, that's part of the building, not the one going in downstairs. You also have a music studio, an arts and crafts area. You have a full bar outside. You have cabanas. You have a resident grab and go, along with a cafe. You have a golf simulator. You have mini golf. You have a Pilates studio, a yoga studio, an entire spa with treatment rooms, an indoor sauna, an outdoor sauna, 2 cold plunge pools, and even a steam room. I'm telling you, you don't have to leave. Now, thinking about the work side of things, there's also a co-working space. So there's like the mix and mingle area where it's out and about. There's semi-private, and you even have the private office space as well. I'm telling you, you do not have to leave this building. It's unreal the amount of amenities that they have. Now, when it comes to the actual units itself, there's something important that we do have to talk about. They come fully furnished, like I said before, which is unreal. They do have Brizo finishes. They have the marble waterfall countertops, floor to ceiling windows. They have full Smeg appliances. We're talking fridge, freezer, wine fridges and select units, which is clutch. You have the dishwasher, oven, stovetop. I mean, everything you want's really there. It's light, white, and bright. Every unit, for the most part, will have a view, whether you have an interior facing one and you get to view the amenities, you have an exterior facing unit and get to see kind of the Fort Lauderdale skyline or even the water. So you have everything. Even the bathrooms have floor to ceiling porcelain tile, which is really nice. The primary bathroom does have the dual vanity sink, which I do really, really like because it's a his and hers kind of thing. So you really do have everything. Now, one thing we do have to talk about though, developer. So the developer is Dependable Equities, a Brooklyn-based developer. Shocker, people from New York wanting to move to Florida, I know. But everything they do touch turns to gold. They are one of the few developers that really helped shape and turn Brooklyn into what it is today. And I'm telling you, some of the buildings that they built are absolutely immaculate. They've also partnered with ODA Architecture, who has worked on the Addition, as well as the Ritz-Carlton in Italy. So you know the fit and finishes on everything within this project are going to be absolutely immaculate. Now, when it does come to the residents, they do range from studios all the way up to the penthouse units, which are 4 bedrooms. However, the best bang for your buck, between you and I, don't say anything, has to be the 1 bedroom with the den or the 2 bedroom with the den. You're probably wondering, but why? You're essentially getting a 2 bedroom or a 3 bedroom, but you're paying not the 2 bedroom or the 3 bedroom price. So the only difference is that den doesn't have a window, but they are good sized. So you could use it as an office, a nursery, a workout room, whatever you really want to use it for. You can do it an extra bedroom, throw a Murphy bed in there if you really want to, pull out a couch. But it gives you a lot of flexibility. Now, when it comes to the best view in the building, I'm kind of biased, and this really depends on each person. I personally like the southwest facing view. I like the views of downtown, and I also like the sunset. I would also argue probably the southeast ones are great as well, because obviously you get the sunrise and the south facing views. I just think there's just something about the sunsets to be said. But one thing to really think about is right directly east of Ombelle is Victoria Park, which is all residential. They will never be building, or I'm not ever gonna say never, but it's very highly unlikely that they ever build a high rise in there, because think about it, it's all single family homes. They don't want single family home, all of a sudden 43-story tower. It's not gonna happen in Victoria Park. So you will have some great views facing east as well. But I'm telling you guys, Fort Lauderdale is on the come up. Even Pompano, I'm bullish on Pompano as well. So if you guys have any questions about what's going on here in Fort Lauderdale, Pompano, or even this Ombelle project, please let us know. And like I said before, we'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest anywhere here in Fort Lauderdale or South Florida in general, you can call us, email, text us, whatever's easiest for you, we got you.